Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly Ascension Angel Messages for July 20th, 1st through the 27th, 2025. So let's take a moment to just ground and center ourselves and to release and surrender anything that is of concern, and in particular anything that you're trying to manifest. So if you have this feeling as though you're trying to reach a goal, but you're worried about how it's going to unfold and what needs to happen next in order for you to achieve this, or worried that you won't be able to do so, just take a moment now to feel the bottom of your feet touching the ground or the floor. And if you need to wake up your chakras of your feet, just lightly tap the sole of your feet on the floor or the ground. And then this creates that portal of anchoring you deep into the heart of Lady Gaia. And just feel her draw you back into your purpose, into your highest potential and all of its rewards. And just trust. So set an intention of trusting your angels and the guidance that you will receive and that you need might come in the form of understanding or compassion. So I'd like to thank everyone for returning to this weekly series. And we're, again, the months are going by very quickly, and we're at the full last stages of the week, of the month, rather. And I'd like to also extend a welcome to anyone who's new to our Angelic Wisdom community. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe and select the all notification bell. If you'd like to get an angel reading with me, you can go to my current website, theangelschool.com/services. And just be aware that my office hours for the summer are Monday through Friday, Friday, 12 noon to 6 p.m. And if you'd like to support my channel with a donation, you can go to my PayPal me link for Angelic Wisdom. All of this you'll find in the description area beneath this video. If you haven't checked out the monthly Ascension Angel Messages for July, that video will be the first link there as well. Also, don't forget about the healing sessions that are offered on Sundays at 7 p.m. By my teacher and mentor. She's a healer, a medical intuitive. So her name is Kim Sear, and that's the name of her YouTube channel. So it's very easy to find. There's a link there. Hopefully it works. If not, just go to Kim Sear. And it's every Sunday at 7 p.m. And it's free on YouTube. So let's just tune in now and be aware of the loving guidance of your angels. And feel your team as you ground. Be aware that your team of angels, the universe, is always present with you as we're all one. And so the universe is you, and it will always be a part of you. Every spark of divinity and light and truth and love and peace and oneness is a part of your I am presence. And so every time you ground and you open up that channel of connection with Lady Gaia, you immediately activate the higher awareness of your I am presence. This is one important way for us to really to be aware and to connect with our I am presence. And they're just writing I am today, so it seems like very important for us to be aware of, to start really connecting in with our I am presence. And to really start accessing the wisdom and guidance, and most importantly, enlightenment and understanding that your I am presence can help you to see things from definitely a higher perspective, but also a more well-rounded perspective. Now, this angel number I saw at the beginning when I was talking, it was 731, and it says, continue your daily practice of prayer and meditation because it keeps you centered in a loving mindset. And I can tell you that the deeper practice of however you ground and meditate is one thing, but also anything that allows you to gain insights, whether it's through reading or journaling or automatic writing. It could also be walking in nature, whatever it is that maybe, because I know over the last year, I've had less time for this. And it's hard to get back into that really deep time and connection, especially when you're working. But it's really relevant to our lives right now. And they write the word responsibility. It's an important responsibility. We have a lot of responsibilities, and they are always pushing things, to the side. And when they get pushed to the side, they get pushed down, 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 and further down the line. This is one of those things. Your spiritual practice is one of those things that you just can't be allowed to be pushed aside. And so they really want you to make it a priority. Note that it is your main priority or responsibility to help you maintain that loving mindset. And a loving mindset means one of compassion, one where you have a well rounded perspective of every situation. And that's going to be key because when we have a well rounded, I almost think of it as like a circle of many people who are viewing each from a different perspective. But when we talk about our I am presence, that is what it's like. Your I am presence abilities are like, and the power of your I am presence is not in terms of power, in the way that we think about it in terms of numbers, but it's the ability to see and to understand not just from one single perspective of the individual or ego, but the bigger picture, the larger picture, the whole picture. That source is always containing. So they're showing me right now, and they're drawing my attention back to the 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 manifestation, and they're showing me sort of like bars, so like, these transparent bars actually, but it's like, prison bars, and that they're transparent is another probably logic to that, or a meaning. But it gives us a sense that the transparency is that you see, or you have an inkling, in some way, shape, or form, what's holding you back, but you're not addressing it. And what I mean by that, what's holding you back, is that you have a desire that you wish to manifest. You believe in this desire, but before, when the bars may have been solid, um, that would have meant that you were just feeling stuck, and your ego was seeing every reason, whether the blame was being placed on you or others around you, that was immobilizing you, and you couldn't work through it. You were in the dark. Now you're no longer in the dark. It may feel like you're the same way. It may feel like you're in the dark, but you also recognize that you know what you're doing to yourself. And that's that transparent. They look like almost like quartz crystal, clear quartz crystal cell bars. And so that means that, I don't know the word, soundboard. You are able to see your reflection. You're able to hear your thoughts, and you're able to recognize that the energy that they're creating, and you know that this is something you need to step away from, to deal with in a different way. You're not in the dark. You're in the light, but you're still feeling the struggle. So this time we should feel encouraged that we can go towards the light, meaning we can use our enlightenment, what we have access to that we've never had access to before, and we can sit and be present with this in a way that doesn't, that diffuses those heavy feelings from the past. And the burdens that they placed on our minds and our hearts, the um, and the persecution that because we often feel persecuted by these things, and that's this reminds me of the Eight of Swords, where she's surrounded and she's blindfolded, but she's got a way out, because she will always have a way out, because she's the one creating. It's her mind that is creating those things. And now we're not so blind, and you are ready. Everything within you, your I am presence, is more resolute and absolute within you to clear these cells. So these cells, with this feeling of crystal, clear quartz crystal, is like it's we can clear the negativity. We can heal. We're ready to heal. But the battle feels like the same old battle, but you just have different tools at your that are accessible to you to work with. So don't be afraid by going back into this practice, whatever that practice is for you, where it will give you that clarity, the kind of clarity that heals, the kind of clarity that regenerates hope over defeat or fear. So let's take a moment to just take a deep breath and breathe, especially into your heart chakra. I don't know about you, but this often feels very, very heavy. Most days, and filled with a lot of angst. You have to remember that we are all one, and this is part of what the law of one means, that we are all one. And they say if a polar bear sneezes, and it's in the North Pole, then in a desert, a grain of sand moves, because everything and everyone and all things together are connected. So we're all feeling what we're all feeling. And we're all healing together. And we're all healing what we're all needing to heal together. So you might think that you're healing something different, but we're all healing the same things. And so the one of the most important contributions to the collective, to all of us right now, is through centering and grounding, because that connection is profoundly healing within itself, and it connects us all to our supreme potential. Your Earth Star chakra holds your potential for this lifetime. And when we all ground and center, we connect into that. But remember, we're all one. We can all technically survive if only one of us is accessing our highest potential. Whether that's in healing, abundance, it doesn't matter. It's all encompassing. And we'll all feel hope because of that one. So if we help each other now under the law of one, oneness, thinking oneness consciousness. And we ground and we have our practice that is providing that relief and release and ease to the collective hearts, or to our collective hearts. So just know that if you're waking up in the middle of the night and you're feeling this, or you're waking up in the morning, take a moment as you're guided to send love, to send light as healing, and don't be afraid to enter those feelings, because your light transmutes them, not just for you, but for the collective. They wrote the word trust, but I'll come back to that. As you go into them and you bring your light, you bring collective healing. You bring a collective easing of suffering around the globe. And we all need to really pay attention to that. I often will, see Gaza when that happens, and things that are going on in the Middle East or other parts of the world. And as soon as I give light and love in the way that I'm guided to do it, that I feel the collective suffering that we're all holding, because we're all one, in my heart, ease. And I have this feeling like, as I'm talking to you, that, I talked about a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, about this when I was meditating. It was right before the video, actually. And I just saw this shadowy, like, veil that we were all under. And our light work right now is through this heart work, because wherever you're feeling it, but mostly I feel it in the heart chakra. And, our hearts have to open to love. And as that practice that angel number was speaking about, and it said, continue your daily practice of prayer and meditation, because it keeps you centered in a loving mindset. We need to really collectively support, nurture, and feed this loving mindset over this shadow of fear that is just, engulfing hearts right now, as the things that are being done out of, what is this kind of power? Out of a desperation to hold power, to feel powerful, it's creating that shadow. But it's not a them versus us, the powerless versus the powerful. That's not what this is about. This is about a collective contract or karmic debt, where we all play in our personal lives into these different roles because we did not, and here comes the word trust, because we did not trust the power of love. We constantly give ourselves over to our fears, and love is a consolidated power. It's a balance of power. It's a power of equality. It's a power of justice, of freedom, of respect, of righteousness. But fear there's nothing consolidated about fear, about ego. So it's always going to be a dueling of weak, strong, powerful, powerless. And when we engage in fear, we either sometimes go into victim, but when we go into victim, there has to be a coming back around to being in control. That's power. This devouring, desperate power. And it may not look like it happens in the ways that when we look at the bigger picture, the system, but it's the same seed. And so we all owe. We all owe in a way that we're all responsible for healing this because we've all played in it. We've all been living profoundly in that paradigm. And now we're all trying to cross over into the paradigm of love. This is why anything you blame another for, it comes right back to you, whether it's through the act of complaining about it or having expressed yourself in fear. Now, who of us is blameless of either? Because both of those places us directly in the power struggle and the power imbalance, you want to call it, because there's always imbalance. Love is a power of balance. Fear is an imbalance of power. And that is the reflection of the world that we're seeing and that we've seen. It might look like it's something different, but it's really the same thing, just magnified and intensified. Why? Because we allowed our play in fear to over intensify. The more knowledge we got through technology and social media, the more our minds started overloading and creating fear, more fear. I mean, I could go into this, but just think about it. It looks like a lot of things have been, a lot of things, we all have a story of injustice, no matter, how we've labeled ourselves in this, three-dimensional world or the system of ego. But none of us have clearly trusted the power of love, the balance of power. We complain about it. We want it as in we're lacking in it. It's going back to what we talked about last week when we were talking about the 2 points of attraction, one of worth, one of undeserving. We talk about love, but always from the point of attraction of undeserving. And that's why our world's problems perpetuate. And the reason that they have escalated and at a, what's the phrase, fever pitched high of a, you know what I'm getting at, trying to say if that's not the right way to say it, but is because now our ascension process is fully activated. Our I am presence is resolute and absolute in our lives now. And that set off the intensity. And it also set off the dynamics where it seems like, well, they're writing, we're in extreme survival mode. And if you want to look at your side and versus the other side, but whatever you're seeing, if there's a lot of lying going on, and if there's a lot of panicking because of the lying, that's the imbalance of power. That's victim and victor dynamics. But it's all caused still by fear. And the absolute and resoluteness of our I am presence is making all of this clear. Whereas in the past, it was very underhanded, right? There was a lot of deceit and hiding and masquerading is the better word of our fears. So now people are expressing or showing anxiety because we can't conceal anything anymore. So what you're witnessing is transparency. What we were expecting is that this would all come out, these sort of I don't know, these ideals or these virtuous ways of being like where everything be more transparent. We just thought it was going to be like pretty in a prettier time. No, we get these beautiful gifts so we can see the worst of what we've been and what we are being, because we still have to do the work by first being able to witness responsibly what we've always created. We have to witness it. And then we have to become aware of the ways of healing and moving through this and building. So, and by building, we shift to that point of attraction of worth and integrity. When we do that, then we're ready to have this new experience, this holistic, well-rounded perspective. And when we are ready for that, fear cannot usurp the balance of power of love within you or within the world. Okay, so let's take a look. Oh, and I forgot to put the little crystals today. Let's take a look at the Archangel that we're working with. And I swear, it felt like I was just talking 10 minutes. It's interesting. And this is great because Archangel Muriel is the Archangel of intuition, if you want to put it that way. He's an angel of love and compassion. You see the pink, light pink in his energy. So he is an angel of love. But so that first word, trust your own wisdom. And what's interesting about that is you can only have trust, when you are taking action from the power that of love, which is this open-heartedness, this holistic viewpoint of life, of every circumstance in your life, and of every person in your life. This is when your intuition truly flows, because it is in alignment with the laws of one. It's in alignment with oneness, that we are all one. It's in alignment with the way that we were created and the flow of creation itself. Everything is connected. Nature, humanity. It's all one. The stars, the universe, we're all one. And there is a natural flow and that is present in life, in the physicality of life. We just always go against that flow, mostly, with our ego or fear perspective. So this card is asking you to have faith in your psychic impressions. And working with Archangel Muriel can really assist you. First of all, tuning in, grounding, being aware of his energy and his pink, gold energy just surrounding you. And you can imagine yourself sort of this watery energy. And that watery energy and the moonlight as symbolic of really connecting in with your emotions, feeling them, no matter what they are, surrendering. You're not being consumed, you're not giving away control, but you're flowing with the natural order, that divine control, that natural order that is within what you're feeling. So what you're feeling is what you need to feel in order to understand who you are and where you are and what you're there for, what you're there to learn, what you're there to release, all of that. And the more you make that connection, the stronger your trust in the understanding of love and the way that it works and what it's working on your behalf for. And they're writing the word soon. So there's something coming soon that you've been praying for or working towards, but you need to trust. You trust your own inner wisdom for that to unfold. Not fear, but trust. So today the cards were laid from right to left. So we're focusing internally from a personal perspective. So that means when you see events unfold in a certain way, know that it is a reflection of something that you're feeling or that you need to experience that is going to help you to heal. And here we have the Six of Cups. And that same energy that we see in the Archangel Muriel card. But it looks like a setting sun. It could be a more dawn, early dawn. But it's really giving us sort of this shadowy effect of, but all this light, enlightenment being brought through these feelings that we're reflecting on, of the past and the present and the future. It's just a sense of nostalgia, right? And being present with that. And this doesn't have to be negative feelings. It could be, that you might be just feeling gratitude and this kind of mixture of love, joy, and pain. But it feels like gratitude all at the same time, because your pain is evolving through appreciation and your pain is healing. So just know that somehow the past, the suffering, the pain of the past, collectively is healing. It's being transmuted. And to be patient as we move through this process of healing. And if you can just be grateful in your prayers for that, even though you might not understand it all, but that you're willing to give it time to be present with it on a daily basis, to help assist, not just for you. It's just not about you when you feel what you're feeling, but this is about for the collective. And they write, don't try to suppress it. And one of the ways we can suppress something is by not making space for it. So make space. Make this something that you're going to be responsible for. Make this a priority. Make this responsibility a priority each day, or whenever you feel it strongly. And just know that you'll be contributing to the healing of the entire world. Here we have the Two of Swords. Now, this is typically a card about, feeling like you're at a stalemate, and you can't make the decision. You don't know what the right decision is. This stuck energy they just wrote in front of me. It feels like the advice here is that these women have their backs turned, but it's to look forward. It's almost like there's two things here. They want you to look forward. And if there's something when you feel stuck, think about what moves you forward, even if that is very scary to you, meaning you feel unsafe. And sometimes we would just want to feel safe, and safe can be a trick of our ego. When we just need to be able to move forward in order for things to get better and for us to eventually feel safer. So I get a sense that it's what the word conquer, that this is also pushing us to conquer some of these things that have held us, they write, captive for so long. And not as an individual. If you keep thinking about this as everything is about yourself, you will be taking on too much of the blame. If you realize that we're all in captivity, and that as you are able to understand your own captivity, you will liberate the collective from captivity. All right, let's take a look at the card. This is the Six of Wands, or bastos. So this is very interesting because we have the two sixes here and a two. And what this does is that here we have now that victor. So we're moving from, it looks like, the victim to the victor, right? Moving through these dynamics. It's a cycle coming back around. And this pose is this total freedom and her mind is surrounded by these blossoms. Just she's looking up. So we've had looking down, looking forward, now looking up. And it's interesting because we're looking down and looking forward, talking about just being able to move forward to where we can feel better, feel safer, right? It's not easy, but looking up is a total surrender, total freedom from the world around us. And so these are three interesting gestures, poses of of looking, and it's profoundly healing if we can move through these stages in the way that was explained. So you need to set your sights on what is actually deserving of you. What is the deserving version of the story that you're telling yourself? How can you tell the story in a way that's deserving? You know, we spend so much time telling stories and viewing situations in our lives from a place of undeserving, lack. How about practicing telling it as though you from a place of worth, and see how that challenges you but changes your life in a moment or in a circumstance or situation. So the card I pulled from the bottom of the deck is the Sota Copas, which is the Page of Cups, which is really appropriate with the Intuition card of Archangel Muriel. And you just see, it's like now this person is, you know, with her hands behind her back like that. It's a sign like it brings the chest up, right? And out. And so it gives a sense of confidence and openness because the lungs are being drawn, held high, and allowed to really take deeper breaths. So there's a sense of ease, an ease that comes from an inner knowing, an inner trust. And maybe this is something that you're starting to learn now as we're going through this collective healing process. It's easy for us to always focus on just how bad everything is and how much in our heads we're conjuring that it's going to get worse, and not being able to pay attention, not making enough space to pay attention to just how much stronger you're becoming, more balanced in your power, where you're starting to own more of your power. And it's subtle because it's not boisterous like the ego. It's just a consolidated, stabilizing inner awareness and beingness that eventually grows naturally into becoming what you are, but never recognizing it in a way that you need to I can't think of the word, but hold it over somebody else, make them feel it. You see, you're just using it with the understanding of the law of one, that we're all one. And so you're using it. You know that when you use your power of love, that it's affecting everyone. And you have this clear understanding of your responsibility to use love in a way that lifts us all up and everyone around you. collectively, and that you would never use it to bring anyone down, because you would be bringing the collective, which is, you are part of it, right? All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have a beautiful week. God bless.